for a series win in St. Louis. D-backs baseball is presented by Sanderson Ford. Cloudy and cold again today under the arch, but the D-backs look to wrap up the first stop on this three-city road trip by taking 2 of 3. The D-backs and the Cardinals on Fox Sports Arizona. Good morning from Busch Stadium. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume, Bob Brenly along the way. The series finale in St. Louis. 37 degrees here yesterday, the coldest home game in Cardinals history. It's a balmy 40 degrees right now, so we won't break any records today, but there is snow in the forecast for late this afternoon, early evening. Bob, a cold day to pitch for the California native Taijuan Walker.
Yeah, Taijuan Walker looking to get into the second inning without giving up a run. In his start earlier this season, he gave up 3 against the Dodgers in the first inning, ended up pitching 5 innings in that ball game. His last start in the postseason, he gave up runs in the first inning. Hopefully get Taijuan through that first unscathed today.
For the Cardinals, we've seen Wainwright and we've seen Walker. Now we get Weaver. This is the youngster Luke Weaver, a guy they like a lot back end of their rotation.
Yeah, Luke Weaver, a guy very similar to the 2 gentlemen you mentioned. Features a fastball, changeup, curveball combination. Pretty strong his first time out against the Mets. Gave up only 1 earned run in his 5 innings of work.
Cloudy and very cold in St. Louis. D-backs a chance to take 2 of 3. And the first pitch is coming up on Fox Sports Arizona. D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By Gila River Hotels and Casinos, the card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. Is brought to you by Chaz Roberts, Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By Tire Pros of Arizona. Everything rotates around you. And by Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free Jumbo Jacks only at Jack in the Box. Clear and cold. Taijuan Walker on the mound. We're about 10 minutes away from first pitch. He's up against the Cardinals' Luke Weaver. More from St. Louis after this.
Heading off to San Francisco. Jody Jackson with you just outside the D-backs dugout. And this matchup is Weaver versus Walker. Taijuan Walker, 9-9 last year in his first season as a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks. His first start against the Dodgers, had a shaky first inning and then settled in. His catcher then and his catcher today, Alex Avila, knows that fastball command is important for any pitcher, and it is certainly important for Taijuan. I asked him why it is especially important for Taijuan Walker.
His bread and butter is his fastball, so you know, a lot of other guys sometimes can get away with without as good command with their fastball. With him, it's pretty much a must for him, because it's such not only a pitch that he can, you know, start guys out with, but it's also an out pitch for them. You know, and it really sets everything else up, you know, that much better when, you know, hitters know that he can pretty much put that fastball where he wants.
You know, I mean, the last few years, really with Taijuan, it's like looking to take maybe that next step. And what do you think of just now having him in spring and then 1 start? What are some things that you think are unique about Taijuan that could make him an elite pitcher?
Well, I mean, tremendous physical ability. I mean, that's something that's, you know, pretty easily, you can see that while he's on the mound. You can easily see that. You know, and it's a matter of, you know, once you're gaining that confidence and your ability to be able to make the pitches when you need to hold on to that. And, you know, for him, it's trusting that, you know, he's a badass up there basically, and know that he's going to be better than anybody else who's going to step in that box, and that his stuff will reflect that as well. So, you know, it's the confidence matching the physical ability, and once you put those 2 together, typically you can be pretty successful.
All right, there you have it from Alex Avila and Taijuan, that confidence. So looking to gain that here. He's had very good starts on the road in his career, especially last year. And here we are in St. Louis. Taijuan Walker set for his 2nd start of the season. It's D-backs and Cardinals. We've got the first pitch coming up.
Sun and all, the lights are on at the ballpark here. From Busch Stadium, Steve Berthume, Bob Brenly, Jody Jackson along the way. The D-backs off to a 6-2 start, matching their best ever. And a chance with a win here today to make it 3 straight series wins to open a season for the first time in team history. Going to be battling the elements again today. It is awfully cold down there. Here's the D-backs lineup. Gets presented by your Valley Chevy dealers.
David Peralta once again leading it off out in left field. Ketel Marte will start at second base today. Paul Goldschmidt at first. A.J. Pollock out in center field. Daniel Descalso over at third base. Alex Avila doing the catching. Nick Ahmed back in the lineup after missing a few games because of the flu. He'll be at shortstop. Gerard Dyson out in right field. And the big right-hander Taijuan Walker on the mound.
Temperatures should reach 42, 43 at best, they say. There is a 70% chance of snow in the forecast for 7 p.m. tonight, local time. Some rain earlier than that, but hopefully we get this whole thing in and we should be okay with the weather. You never know, though, as we've quickly learned here. Your Ram truck starter for the Cardinals is Luke Weaver, 24-year-old right-hander. He's a Cardinals first-round pick out of Florida State in the draft 4 years ago, and he pitched well in his season debut last Sunday, beat the Mets at Citi Field.
And as I touched on in the open of the show, Luke Weaver very similar in style to Adam Wainwright and Michael Waka. Loves that fastball, features a really good straight changeup. His best breaking pitch is a big over-the-top curveball.
Oh, look around the diamond at the Cardinals defense. That's brought to you by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
Tommy Pham bundled up playing center field today. He'll be flanked by Marcelo Zuna in left, Dexter Fowler in right. It'll be Carpenter and DeYoung on the left side of the infield for the Cardinals. Wong and Martinez on the right side with veteran Yadier Molina behind the plate for right-hander Luke Weaver.
And behind the plate for the umpires, it's Tim Timmons calling the balls and strikes this afternoon. Rob Drake is at first base. Mike Malinsky, the second base umpire, and the crew chief, Mike Winters, appropriately named, as you pointed out, is at third.
Well, you don't want to look away with the Diamondbacks in the first inning. They've scored 11 runs in the first inning of their ball games this year. That's the third most in the major leagues, including 6 extra base hits.
D-backs on an airplane headed for San Francisco as soon as this one is over. Trying to leave here with another series win by taking 2 of 3 in St. Louis. David Peralta leads it off, 301 home run. Tim Timmons standing in the right-hand batter's box. We have a bit of a delay to get going. And now we're finally all set. Pitch misses inside, 1-0. David walked and scored to lead off the game here yesterday. And a pair of 2-out RBI hits in Thursday's series opener. Fastball misses up and away, and Peralta's ahead, 2 balls and no strikes.
2 hits and 3 walks when leading off the game for David Peralta. He's been a machine up there atop the order.
Weaver has a pretty good fastball, mid to high 90s. And a very good changeup. And as Bob mentioned, he has showed some increased confidence in his curveball. That looked good this spring. Trying to get him to mix in a 4th pitch, an occasional slider, you'll see. So many of the Diamondbacks pitchers tend to stand feet wide apart, square to home plate. Weaver, feet close together, way on the first base side of the rubber, kind of at an angle toward home plate. There's that fastball, and it's full 3-2.
Well, much like a hitter in his preparation in the batter's box, it doesn't really matter how you set up. It's where your body is at release. Make sure all those body parts are lined up toward your target. Get that release point in the strike zone. Everybody's a little bit different when they start that delivery.
Fastball below the knees, but Tim Timmons says strike 3. David has a pretty good case there. That was ball 4.
Yeah, sure looked to be below the strike zone right there. Tough take, 95.
Ketel Marte now. The switch hitter batting from the left-hand side. 206. He has singled and doubled in the series. Carpenter comes in, couple of steps on the grass at third. Fastball's in there, and it's 0-1. Marte has hit safely in 3 straight games and 4 of his last 5. Doubled in the 9th inning here yesterday. D-backs beat Weaver here last July 27th at Busch Stadium. He didn't pitch badly, gave up 4 runs, 5 hits in 5 innings.
All 4 runs came via the J.D. Martinez grand slam in that ball game.
Got some life on that fastball. 2-2. They're really trying to crowd Ketel Marte. You see where Yadier Molina's setting up as they work him inside.
Well, we know Ketel Marte, especially in 2 strike counts, pitches from the middle of the plate away. Those are the ones he just kind of flips over there to the left side of the field. Tries to find that 5.5 hole, get it into the outfield.
Moving down and away here. Sends this one out to Ozuna in left field. 2 outs. Torey Lovullo talking about Paul Goldschmidt before the game today. Asked again, what do you think of Goldie's start? And he said, you know what, hitting is hard.
Ain't that the truth?
And Goldie is so good, we just get spoiled watching him compete for an MVP award every year. 3 for 26 to start this one. He has singled twice and walked in the series. There's Torey sitting on 99 career wins as the D-backs skipper. Now, Torey had observed that Goldie, maybe was putting a little, as he put it, too much hustle in his swing. Maybe too quick up there, trying to create some bat speed. But he's seen signs that maybe he's slowing down a bit, more body control up there. Less quick, sort of herky-jerky movements like we saw earlier.
Yeah, we know what a patient hitter Goldie is, but for me, it's a little bit concerning that he's taken a lot of hittable fastballs right down the middle of the plate.
Yeah, that was the case in the at-bat to end the game here yesterday. Swings through a fastball at 96. 2 strikeouts for Weaver. Taijuan Walker coming up. Diamondbacks is Taijuan Walker, 25-year-old right-hander. Taijuan started Monday's marathon win over the Dodgers at Chase Field. Needed 98 pitches to finish 5 innings.
Yeah, really struggled in that first inning. It was pretty solid after that. All 3 runs he gave up came in the first inning. Ended up throwing 98 pitches to get through 5 innings.
Valley Chevy Dealers has the Cardinals lineup.
Dexter Fowler leading it off once again. He'll be out in right field. Tommy Pham in center. Matt Carpenter down at third base with Marcell Ozuna in left. Jose Martinez at first base. Yadier Molina doing the catching. Paul DeJong at short. Colton Wong at second. And Luke Weaver, the right-hander, on the mound.
D-backs going to the overshift against Dexter Fowler, who looks at strike 1. Inside at 94. Fowler needs to back out and reevaluate after that one. Nationwide Vision Center's eye on the game. Ketel Marte and Nick Ahmed. The middle infield combo today. Descalso moves over into the shift. First base side is second. Good to have Nick back out there coming off the flu bug. Fowler just 5 for 34 to start the year. He's got a home run. And it was a leadoff home run, so you always need to be careful here. There's no one over there. Long run for Peralta. And he's got it. Let's take a look around the diamond at the D-backs defense. That's brought to you by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
We've seen David Peralta in action already out there in left field. A.J. Pollock in center. Gerard Dyson over in right field. It'll be Descalso, Ahmed, Marte, and Goldschmidt third to first across the infield with Alex Avila behind the plate for big Taijuan Walker.
Tommy Pham, the center fielder. Fastball up and away is in there for strike one. Pham 281 with a homer. Just off the plate at 95. It's a ball and a strike. Pham singled and scored yesterday, his only hit in the series. He's also struck out 4 times in the series and hit into a double play.
Good velocity early from Taijuan Walker, consistently 94, 95 with that heater.
Let's take a look, Bob, at your Valley Honda dealers key to the game.
We've referenced the early first inning struggles of Taijuan Walker, so he could really benefit from a fast start today. Put up a 0 in that first inning, let his offense go to work behind him.
2-2 on Tommy Pham. Just missed at 96. At Taijuan against LA Monday. Gave up a double, a single, and a home run early. 4 batters into the game. He was down 3-0. But pitched well after that. Full count 3-2. It's down low with a fastball, a 1-out walk. Got to keep an eye on Pham. 25 stolen bases last year. He swiped 2 already this season. And the batter is Matt Carpenter. Carpenter 5 for 25 with a home run. Defensive shift is on. Ahmed stays put between second and third.
And we wondered whether Matt Carpenter would go to the batting gloves yesterday and today because of the cold weather, but he still bareback up there at the plate.
Taijuan missing with his fastball now. It's awfully cold to have nothing on your hands out there, or up here for that matter.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, you definitely want to really focus on barreling the ball up, because anything you hit near the end or down on the handle is really going to sting today.
He'll keep an eye on Pham at first. Carpenter singled and scored in the first inning yesterday. That snapped a 3-game hitless streak for him. He has reached base safely in all 8 games this year. Cardinals coming in 4-4. D-backs holding a 6-2 record. Long set by Taijuan. Pham holds, and Carpenter swings through a fastball up and away. It's 1-1. Torey Lovullo, as always, hoping to see Taijuan Walker come out aggressively right from the get-go with that hard fastball. Set that aggressive tone early in the game. Get some quick outs.
And you heard Alex Avila talking about it with Jody before the ball game. It all works off his heater. That's the way most pitchers operate. If they can command their fastball, it makes all the rest of their stuff that much better.
Right on the black inside. Carpenter didn't love the call. It's 1-2. Good location there from Taijuan. Yeah, I like the way Alex put it when he was talking to Jody before the game, Bob. Talking about, in Taijuan's case, it's simply a matter of, you know, the confidence matching the physical ability. Quick throw over. Taijuan is a pretty mellow dude, by and by every day. That's kind of operates through life, a pretty easygoing guy. But maybe a little more attitude. Get mean out there.
Yeah, I mean, the opposing team doesn't know that. They don't get to hang out in the locker room with you or fly on the planes or ride on the buses. They don't know. You look out there at Taijuan Walker, he's an imposing figure on that mound, and he rushes it up there in the mid-90s. Yeah, maybe snarl every now and then. Give him the stink eye. Make him think you're a mean guy, whether you are or you aren't.
6'4", 235 pounds. A little Bob Gibson now and again would never hurt.
Yeah.
Of course, Gibby in his day could get away with a lot more.
Yeah.
Now you throw anything inside and all of a sudden, oh my goodness.
Warnings have been issued.
Yeah. Two and two on Carpenter with Pham at first and 1 out.
Trying to come back into the fastball.
On set by Taiwan. Pham holds again, misses up at 93. And it's a full count, 3-2. Back-to-back 3-2 counts for Taiwan with Ozuna on deck. Close, and they got him. Oh, they caught Pham leaning the wrong way. He wants them to take a look, but Rob Drake says they got him.
Boy, Tommy Pham is really rooting for this replay to come back in his favor. This is a cardinal sin, no pun intended. He looked like he might have got that left hand on the back of the bag before the tag.
Well, you mentioned yesterday this has been an issue for Tommy Pham and the Cardinals as a team. That's it. He's out.
Got picked off 6 times last year. The cardinal sin is a 3-2 count. If you're running, you have to play it like a hit and run as a runner. You don't try to get a base stealing jump. You just run when the pitcher pitches and trust that the hitter's going to protect you.
So now base is empty. 2 down. The 3-2 to Carpenter, and he misses a fastball up and away. Nice finish to the first for Taiwan Walker. No score in St. Louis.
What to watch for? Our top of the order, keep your eye on Walker. Both of them. We'll look at Taiwan Walker and Christian Walker. As for Taiwan, we talked a lot about that fastball command. That's what Alex Avila was going to be looking for. It's what Taiwan's always looking for. Couple of full counts there in that bottom of the first, but nice job with the strike out of Matt Carpenter. And of course, it helped getting the pick off there. Taiwan will look for that confidence to grow now after getting through the first. Now, Christian Walker, that was a move that was made yesterday. Matt Cook sent down. Christian Walker, PCL MVP last year, guys. He was on the NLDS roster, had 2 pinch hit appearances and got on base. Great spring training. Torey Lovullo said, look, he deserved to make the team, but he does happen to play behind one of the best baseball players in the world. That is Paul Goldschmidt, but he'll try to be creative and get him some at-bats, guys.
That's right, Jody. Thanks. Here's AJ to lead off the second inning. D-backs had to add Matt Cook to the bullpen after that long game against the Dodgers Monday, so Torey was down a bench player. And now Christian Walker is here as the primary right-hand bat off that D-backs bench. It's good to have him. He had a really good spring.
And a nice job by Matt Cook in his short stay up here at the major league level. I'm sure it's not the last time we're going to see Matt Cook this year. Outstanding 2 innings yesterday.
Set down all 6 he faced with 3 strikeouts, Matt Cook. He looked good. 1-1 on Pollock to start the second. AJ, 323 on the year, 5 RBIs. He singled, doubled, and walked yesterday. Had an RBI, scored a run. In with a fastball, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike. AJ's hit safely in 3 straight games and 7 of 8 to start the year. Off to a terrific start. In there at 94, and it's full 3-2. Daniel Descalso on deck. Oh, that's the second time in 4 batters that Tim Timmons has rung up a D-backs hitter on a ball that was below the knees. It happened to Peralta to start the game, and that's twice now. Quickly, Torey is out there, and he's been ejected.
Man, boy, there's some quick triggers in the early going from major league umpires. Thin skin.
And now they have to separate Yadier Molina and Torey Lovullo. D-backs players jumping in to defend their manager as Molina has an issue with Torey. And the benches have emptied. Here they come from the bullpens. Yadier Molina appeared to take exception to something that happened in the exchange between Torey Lovullo and Tim Timmons.
Well, and after the initial exchange of words, it looked like Yadier Molina had pushed the umpire into Torey, maybe pushed Torey. It looked like he was the aggressor there.
Timmons did a very good job of getting in between the two. And the St. Louis crowd gets behind its catcher.
Well, you can point fingers wherever you want, but this is all instigated because of a horrible strike three call again by Tim Timmons. He must have an early flight this afternoon, needs to get out of the city.
Peralta was rung up on a fastball that was clearly below the strike zone to start the ball game. And now the same thing happens to A.J. Pollock to start the second inning. Here's a look. Yeah, Molina was the one that instigated the confrontation. There's no doubt about that looking at that replay.
I mean, technically, you're not allowed to argue balls and strikes as a manager, as a player. Yeah, you can ask, where was it? Is that going to be a strike all day long? Something like that. But if you start arguing balls and strikes, it's grounds for an ejection, and certainly that's why Torey was out there.
And the umpires trying to clear the field of both benches and bullpens. Molina has resumed his position behind home plate.
I don't see how that can happen.
Based on the replay we just saw, I'd have to agree with you. D-backs pitchers slowly they're making their way back out to the bullpen. Same with the Cardinals. Most of the coaches still out on the field. And the umpires are huddling together. And we'll see where we end up here. Mike Matheny checking in with Torey. Mike Fetters, the bullpen coach, in there as well.
Obviously, any attempt we make to say what Torey was saying at home plate, but I would bet something had to do with Yadi's ability to frame pitches.
Molina clearly heard something he didn't like.
Yeah.
Mike Winters right there, the crew chief.
We've seen a lot of quick triggers this year. In a ball game yesterday, Anthony Rendon was thrown out for just dropping his bat to the ground on a called strike three by Marty Foster. Didn't say a word and got ejected from a ball game.
Weaver will throw some warm-up tosses to Molina, who at this point is still in the game after going after the D-back skipper.
Yeah, Diamondbacks punched out 12 times in the ball game yesterday. 6 of those were called third strikes.
Well, look, the umpires are human. Clearly Tim Timmons missed 2 calls, but now it's up to them to sort all this out, and we can get back to baseball.
Once again, I don't know how Yadier stays in this ball game. He was clearly the instigator here. Bad pitch right there.
Molina will stay in the game.
I don't understand this at all.
As far as we can tell for the moment, the only ejection has been Torey Lovullo. Descalso, the former Cardinal, steps in now. Weaver has struck out 3 of the first 4 he's faced.
Still waiting for some of the Diamondbacks relievers to get back into the bullpen in left center field.
There goes Mike Fetters and company.
It's one of those situations, no ejection for Yadier Molina, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Major League Baseball takes a look at the replay of that particular incident and Yadi ends up getting either suspended or fined at some point in the future.
Based on the replays we saw, he clearly initiated the confrontation that led to the benches and the bullpens emptying. Stepping right into the Diamondbacks skipper and had to be separated by the plate umpire Tim Timmons. So we play on here. It's 2-0 on Descalso. Well, that'll warm things up a bit anyway.
Yeah, if your heart wasn't pumping when the game started, it should be now.
Two balls and one strike. On the ground to first, Jose Martinez collects that one. 2 down. Alex Avila now. Alex 2 for 16 to start the year. 0 for 5 in the ball game here Thursday night. Of course, we won't know definitively what happened until we talk to Torey after the game. But the only possible reason for the quick hook would be, as you mentioned, Bob, arguing balls and strikes, which you're just not allowed to do. One and one on the D-backs catcher.
24 punch-outs in this series so far for the Diamondbacks. Almost half of them, 11, have been called third strikes.
Two controversial ones in this game so far. Vila gets it in the air. Pretty deep left center. Pham is over there. Just shy of the warning track. Bottom 2 in St. Louis on the way. No score. Remains in the game. He is the center fielder. Diamondbacks will play on without their skipper Torey Lovullo, who was ejected, even though it appeared that Yadier Molina stepped toward and maybe even threw a punch at the Diamondbacks manager, but Molina remains in the game as well. Marcell Ozuna leads it off for St. Louis in the bottom of the second inning. Did see, Bob, as you pointed out, Timmons, the plate umpire, check in with Taijuan Walker as Taijuan came out to take the mound.
I'm assuming warnings were issued. We don't know that for a fact, but I can't think of another reason for the home plate umpire to walk the pitcher out to the mound before the inning started.
Molina due up third in this inning. Ozuna swings at the first pitch. Ketel Marte throws him out. Here is the big bat in the Cardinal lineup yesterday, the first baseman Jose Martinez. An RBI single in the first, a 3-run home run in the third, both off Zach Greinke. And they're at 357 with 8 RBIs. Martinez drove in 4 of St. Louis's 5 runs yesterday. Fastball's a strike, and it's 0-1. In there at 94, 0-2 on the big first baseman. Martinez, big strike zone, 6-6 up there, 215. Dyson in right field. That ball slicing toward the corner, 2 down. Here is Yadier Molina. A big ovation from the hometown crowd. Molina 290 and 3 homers. Taijuan has retired 3 in a row since the walk to Pham. Fastball up and in at 95. It's 1-0. Molina has singled twice and doubled in this series. He's hit safely in all but one of the Cardinals' first 8 games. Taijuan working consistently up in the strike zone, trying to elevate that fastball.
And we've talked about that in the past. I think that's when Taijuan's at his best, when he's commanding that fastball across the top of the zone.
One and two. Nick Ahmed at shortstop. 8-pitch inning for Taijuan Walker. No score after 2.
The captain,
Northeast guy. He's always got some advice in the meetings. One of the hardest working guys I've ever seen. One of the most prepared guys I've ever played with.
he knows what everyone's supposed to be doing. He knows where people are supposed to be, when things are supposed to happen.
Nothing too much bad to say about Nick. I know the guys who probably are talking the smack, so it's definitely not Nick, not him. He's out.
The captain of the infield, Nick Ahmed, leads off the D-backs third against right-hander Luke Weaver. Good to have Nick back from the flu bug.
He did get into the ball game as part of a double switch last night, had 1 at bat, was called out on a check swing on strike 3 by the man behind the plate today. They had a little bit of a stare down as Nick walked back to the dugout.
Nick off to a tremendous start, 8 for 19 up there with 7 RBIs. Tapper to shortstop. DeYoung has it. And Weaver has set down all 7 he's faced to start the ball game. Here's Gerard Dice, the right fielder. 3 for 16 to start the year. That one caught the outer half, and it's 0-1. Popped it up. First base side. Here comes Carpenter calling for it. 2 down in the third.
Well, you don't want to have a quick inning for Luke Weaver. I would suggest that Taijuan Walker take until he gets 2 strikes in this at bat.
And then when you do get 2 strikes, apparently you have to swing at everything.
Pretty much.
Because it's going to be strike 3, at least so far. Career numbers on Taijuan, a home run last year for the D-backs. Big cut of a fastball there, and it's 0-1. Weaver has struck out 3 so far. He's getting fastballs to hit, and he's taking his hacks. Three swings, 3 strikes, 4 strikeouts for Weaver. No score at Busch Stadium. Half inning. What happened here? The Padres and the Astros. Here's a pop-up. Hosmer overruns it. How about that?
Yeah,
they walk off on an infield pop-up.
Yeah, the launch angle was 90 degrees.
Almost straight up. A 1-0 win for the Astros on an infield pop-up in the 10th.
I mean, Eric Hosmer's a really good defensive first baseman. It looked like he was looking for A.J. Ellis to come out from behind the plate to make that catch in the infield, and it just dropped for the game winner.
That's a look inside Ballpark Village across the street here. They've done a marvelous job with that in St. Louis. And that's the warmest place to watch this one unless you're home in Arizona. D-backs and Cardinals no score as we start the bottom of the third inning. 40 degrees here at first pitch. After a record-setting 37 degrees yesterday, the coldest home game in Cardinals history. There is snow in the forecast for late this afternoon, early evening.
You know, even though the thermometer would say it's a little bit warmer today, I think because we had sun yesterday, it made a big difference. It's really gray here today. It looks like it could snow.
The lights are on. Not a cloud in the sky all day yesterday. Paul DeYoung, the shortstop, leads off the Cardinals' third. DeYoung has had 8 at-bats in this series, and he struck out 7 times. But a dangerous hitter nonetheless, .333 with 3 home runs to start the year. DeYoung in 30 at-bats this season has struck out in 14 of them, so almost exactly half the time he's been up there this year. He's punched out. It's a little blooper to shortstop that Ahmed runs down. 1 down. That's 5 in a row are tied for Taiwan. And here's Colton Wong, the second baseman. Wong off to a very slow start, 1 for 18. And he looks like a guy who's a native Hawaiian, all bundled up down there. 0 for 3 yesterday. D-backs overload the right side of the infield. There's ball 1. Nationwide Vision Center's eye on the game. They leave Ahmed, the shortstop, right about where he'd normally be. And Descalso runs over to the first base side of second. Taiwan misses with a fastball, and it's 2-0 on Colton Wong. The pitcher Weaver on deck. Right into the teeth of that shift. Marte from the outfield grass. 2 down in the third. Good start so far for Taiwan. 30 pitches through the first 8 outs.
And the fastball command that we talked about before the ball game pretty much has been there. He's missed the spot a couple of times, but for the most part, he's been able to locate that mid-90s fastball around the edges of the zone.
Weaver can swing the bat just a bit. .235 lifetime hitter. Fastball below the knees is ball 1. Weaver, a native Floridian. He's a Florida State Seminole. That one is fouled straight back. 27th player selected overall in the 2014 draft. Think about Weaver. They're trying to get him to put some weight on. He was a $170 last year. He's beefed it up just a bit. Closer to 185 territory now, but they've had him work with a nutritionist, trying to put some muscle on. One-two pitch. 95 up and in. Dexter Fowler, the leadoff man, would be next. 2-2 on Luke Weaver. Over the mound and by Ahmed into center, and the Cardinals pitcher has the game's first base hit.
He said he could swing it a little bit, a .235 lifetime average. Luke Weaver from DeLand, Florida, which is also the hometown of Chipper Jones. It's a well-placed ground ball just out of the reach of Nick Ahmed up the middle of the field.
A chance for Fowler, who flied out to lead off the game for the Cardinals. D-backs put the shift back on. Fowler, 1 hit in the series. He doubled and scored in the 3rd inning yesterday. breaking ball steals strike one. Here's Ahmed all by himself on the left side. The captain of the infield. Nick's used to this. They play a lot of games in this kind of weather at UConn.
Oh, yeah.
Northeast guy, as AJ pointed out, another Connecticut native. Nick from Western Massachusetts. Dyson in right, and he runs that down. We are through 3, no score, the D-backs and the Cardinals.
Take a look at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. We go back to 1974, Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Al Downing to Hank Aaron. That's number 715 to pass Babe Ruth for the all-time lead on the home run list.
I remember being a little youngster, and the folks would come in and wake us up so we could go out of bed, watch the at-bat, and then go back to bed if nothing happened.
Yeah, Hank Aaron homered on opening day on the road, and this was the Atlanta Braves home opener at Fulton County Stadium, and obviously did it in front of a full house and a lot of eyes around the country.
I miss those uniforms. No, you're not feeling them?
Yeah.
All right. Well, David Peralta, who led off the ball game by being rung up by plate umpire Tim Timmons on a low strike call, will start the 4th inning. So far against Weaver, 9 up, 9 down. He's punched out 4. If you're just joining us, Torey Lovullo ejected in the 2nd inning after a controversial strike 3 call on A.J. Pollock. A.J. had been rung up on strike 3. Torey came out to talk to Timmons, who's missed 2 calls here. He got ejected. Torey clearly said something Yadier Molina didn't like, and Molina stepped toward the Diamondback manager and had to be separated by the plate umpire Timmons, but Molina remains in the game and Torey was tossed.
I know you're a big fan of that single-digit number on pitchers.
It's becoming more and more popular with
Yeah.
some of the young pitchers. It just looks like something you see in Little League, that's all. So I guess it works out. Weaver looks like a Little League kid out there in a lot of ways. Peralta rolls one into right, first D-backs hit. It's like you know, a utility infielder has come on to pitch or something like that. Not a lot of history behind single-digit numbers for pitchers, but whatever works for you. Marte flied out his first time.
David Peralta, as we mentioned at the top of the show, doing a real nice job in his first at bat of a ball game, but leading off here in the 4th inning, gets on base, gets something started. David Peralta was standing on the base when Luke Weaver snapped that throw over to first.
Just to make sure you're going to throw over. I think that's another aspect of the game that Molina controls from back there. Hey, why don't you throw over?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. And sometimes they come from the bench, but, you know, Yadier Molina's caught enough games back there behind the plate. He understands running situations and guys that are capable of stealing a base, guys that are capable of playing hit and run, but he probably gets that sign from the bench, whether to throw over to first base or just go ahead and let the pitcher deliver the ball.
Weaver tried that changeup that's worked out so well for him that time. It's a ball and 2 strikes on Ketel Marte with Goldie on deck. Weaver will work north-south in the strike zone with his fastball. Mike Maddox is their new pitching coach, and he spent much of spring training urging his pitchers to work up in the zone, especially with Weaver, who's always been a guy who works down at the knees with that fastball changeup combo. So they've been all over Weaver to change eye levels, work in and out, trying to keep guys off balance. Quick throw over, and Peralta's back in time.
With so many players nowadays trying to lift the ball in the air, it seemed to make a lot of sense to work that fastball across the top of the zone, especially if you've got mid-90s velocity like Weaver and Taijuan Walker both have today.
Two and two on Ketel Marte. That's a base hit into right. Peralta digging for third. Here's the throw from Fowler. It's offline. Marte trying to sneak into second. And he runs into an out. Peralta showed no signs of slowing down going around second base. And on the throw, Ketel broke for second.
Now, I thought it was a little bit of a dangerous go by Peralta. That ball was hit hard into right field. Fowler got to it quickly and unleashed his throw to third that was offline. Only then did Marte try to go to second. Carpenter cut the ball off and threw onto the bag at second to get the first out of the inning, but David Peralta at third base.
With one out for Goldie. Goldie struck out his first time up. Infield in for the Cardinals. Fastball misses away, 1-0. Nationwide Vision Centers, eye on the game. Cardinals infielders, toes on the grass. Missed inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Goldie has singled twice and walked in the series. He scored a run. .94 from Weaver. It's 2-1.
Seeing Lovullo hooked up there at home plate with Yadier and Molina with Tim Timmons wedged in between them kind of reminded me back in the day when Whitey Herzog was managing the Cardinals and Roger Craig managing the Giants. We had to separate the 2 managers at home plate one game.
Here's the 3-1. Goldie takes a cut at a fastball. Not as far off the plate as Molina wanted it. Full count 3-2. What happened there?
Well, it was just an ongoing thing. The Cardinals, as we've talked about throughout this series back in the day, they were a track team. They loved to steal bases. Didn't matter what the score was, what the game situation was. That was their offense, stealing bases. And Roger Craig prided himself on stopping the running game. Throws to first and pitch outs and slide steps.
So they were just bound to clash there.
The Titanic and an iceberg. It was going to happen sooner or later.
Goldie got a breaking ball there. It stays 3-2.
Well, while they were separating Whitey and Roger, there were several other skirmishes that broke out on the field, but that was the main event, the 2 managers.
Swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Goldie. 2 down in the 4th with Peralta at third.
It's odd to see Goldie chase a pitch that far out of the strike zone on a full count. He's so good at working back into the count, taking his walks, but chased the pitch out of the zone that time.
Good example of Weaver, the way he likes to work down at the knees with that fastball and changeup. AJ struck out looking to lead off the second inning. That's what started the brouhaha, the fracas, the Donnybrook.
kerfuffle.
Maybe quite didn't reach that level, but you get the gist.
Weaver looks a little quick out of the stretch. I'd like to see the Diamondbacks get a few more base runners on base and get him into this stretch.
Just a little quick, meaning
he comes up to a set position, and then from that point until release point, everything seems really quick out of that stretch. Windup, he's much more under control.
That caught the outer edge of the zone, 1-1. Luke Weaver, 24 years old. He'll be 25 in August. Worked 60 innings for the Cardinals last year. Went 7-2, averaged nearly 11 strikeouts for every 9 innings pitched. Molina sets up away, missed with a fastball. 2-1. Weaver had a big year in the minor leagues last season. He was 10-2 in 15 starts at AAA Memphis. Pacific Coast League All-Star, last May's Coast League Pitcher of the Month, and did well in a call up to the Cardinals. AJ shoots one deep toward the right field corner. Fowler is there, and they strand Peralta at third. Still no score in St. Louis. By T-Mobile, the best network for streaming baseball, because your stadium should be where you make it. 3 scoreless so far for Taiwan. He's given up just 1 hit, a single by the pitcher Weaver. He's walked 1, struck out 1. Tommy Pham, the center fielder, leads off the St. Louis 4th. Pham walked his first time up, was picked off first base by Taiwan. Fastball misses up, and it's 2-0. You like to keep Pham and his speed off the bases if you can, especially to lead off the inning. Fastball's a strike, 2-1. Zach Greinke was saying after his loss here yesterday that, you know, this Cardinals team, always tough to strike out. Zach was saying they grind at bats. A lot of their guys know how to not strike out, unlike some other teams. They usually don't chase pitches out of the strike zone a ton, so they're a little bit tougher than most lineups. That fastball just missed down and away. Full count, 3-2. There's Zach Greinke. 5 runs on 9 hits in 5 innings yesterday. His first loss of the year. Full count, 3-2 on Pham. You got guys like Pham and Carpenter and Ozuna. Martinez is a fairly disciplined hitter. Certainly Yadier Molina. These guys make you work. Little flare out to right for Dyson. I think that's probably, Bob, especially true for Zach Greinke, a guy who relies on location and working just off the edges of the strike zone, trying to get guys to chase.
And if they don't chase those pitches, he falls behind an account, and then he's got to bite off a little bit more of the strike zone. That's when they become dangerous hitters. Tell you, for the most part, though, the Diamondbacks starting pitching has been outstanding this year. Only the Padres have thrown more innings out of their rotation than the Diamondbacks, and they have the 3rd fewest walks in the National League. Taijuan Walker off to a good start through 3 today.
This is a team that, even though they have some great hitters like A.J. Pollock and Paul Goldschmidt and David Peralta and on down the list, Diamondbacks are going to win this year with pitching and defense. And Torey has always said since he's been here, our starting pitching sets the tone. And the bullpen so far as well, for the most part, has been outstanding.
And I think the reason the bullpen has been so good, other than the obvious, we have good pitchers down there, is the fact the starters have been more effective working deeper into the ball game, so Torey can use the guys in the role he wants them in. I mean, all fans out there can remember, take your pick of a season where the starters blew up early in the ball game. You had to get into that bullpen early in the season, and then it was just a constant roller coaster between AAA and the big leagues to get fresh arms up to the majors. When your starters get deeper into the ball game, it allows a manager and a pitching coach to use the staff the way they're meant to be used.
50 pitches for Taiwan, 29 strikes. Ozuna on deck. It's 3-1 on Carpenter. I think also, Bob, it's a case of a few years ago it would be a one youngster after another, Enrique Burgos and Severino Bracho and Jake Barrett, all trying to find their feet under them in the big leagues. And now the front office, led by Mike Hazen and everybody, Jared Porter, has brought in a lot of grown-ups, veteran arms like Fernando Salas, for instance, guys who have experience back there. Second walk of the ball game issued by Taijuan Walker. Carpenter aboard, one down for Ozuna. Ozuna grounded out his first time up today. He's got 4 hits in the series, all singles, coming off a 3 for 4 yesterday. Along the right field line, drifting toward the seats, Dyson runs out of room. Hey, think about the days when you were the D-back skipper. You had, speaking of starting pitchers, 2001, Schilling through 256 innings. RJ just under 250.
Is that all?
I guess you had a quick hook.
And I'll tell you what, that was with an effort throughout the first 3/4 of the season to shorten those guys up whenever we could. Now, it's not easy to take Schill or RJ out of a ball game when they've got a 1-hit shutout in the 7th inning, but if we had a big lead, we'd try to get them out of there whenever we could to save them pitches for later.
This one is hit deep to right center. AJ has to come in. Carpenter holds it first. AJ sort of planted that back foot just shy of the warning track and then broke in late. Allowed out for Ozuna, and here's Jose Martinez.
Probably a good thing that AJ was coming in as he made that play. If he was drifting back on the warning track, Carpenter had gone back to the bag at first and was going to try to advance into scoring position, but when AJ changed directions, came running in on that ball, Carpenter had no choice but to stay at first.
Martinez flied out his first time.
Ozuna's at it again. He's had 2 at-bats. He's seen 3 pitches and swung at all 3 of them.
Well, the flags in left center field here are dead still, but the pennants on the top level of Busch Stadium here are blowing out from the right field corner toward the left field corner. So if you get it up in the air like that last one, the wind will take it just a bit, it looks like. 2-0 on Jose Martinez. Martinez may be the one guy in the league who shrinks Taijuan Walker just a bit. That was a good shot from our director, Brian Moss there. You get a sense of Taiwan's mound presence. Big dude up there, of course, but Martinez at 6'6" has the height advantage. This is hit deep to right field. Dyson backing up, and he's got it just shy of the warning track. 4 scoreless from Taijuan Walker in St. Louis. In the forecast for later, no score here as we start the 5th. A reminder, D-backs fans, if you can't watch the games on TV, stream them live on your mobile device. Use Fox Sports Go. It's presented locally by your Valley Honda dealers. Download the free app and take Fox Sports Arizona and the D-backs with you wherever you go. Daniel Descalso leads off the 5th against right-hander Luke Weaver. D-backs with 2 hits so far, singles by Peralta and Marte. Descalso grounded out to first his first time up. He was the first batter following the Torey Lovullo ejection after the confrontation with Cardinals catcher Yadier Molina. That was initiated by Molina, but Torey was the only one thrown out of the game. And that was before things really got ugly and the benches emptied. Talked about Weaver elevating that fastball, working north and south. A good example right there as Descalso strikes out.
Hey fans, a D-backs home run today means a free jumbo jack tomorrow at participating Jack-in-the-Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
Here's Alex Avila. Weaver was funny about that. You know, he said coming up in the minor leagues, in college, wherever, you always used to hear down, down, down. That's where you want to pitch. But there's been so much emphasis on it the last few years, and now everybody is pitching down. The hitters adjust to that down pitch. And now Weaver says everyone's telling him up, up, up. That's where you got to work. No one can hit that. So if you go up, down, different way to look at it. That's where he is kind of right now.
Yeah. Some pitchers are in and out, some are up and down, some are hard and soft. A lot of different ways to get big league hitters out, but I would tend to agree with the coaches that told Weaver to pitch across the top of the zone.
And it's funny because the Cardinals, going back to Dave Duncan's long tenure here as the pitching coach, were always sinkers down.
Down, down, down.
Live at the knees. Get those ground balls. But now they're looking for fastballs up from their new pitching coach, Mike Maddox. There he is.
Well, and you have to have the fastball to be able to pitch at the top of the strike zone. You probably wouldn't recommend that to a guy that's best fastball was 84 miles an hour. You'd be getting a lot of new balls from the umpire. But if you're mid-90s with that four-seamer and you can locate it up there at the top of the zone on the edges, why not?
Tried it right there. Fastball at 94 up and away. And it should help Weaver set up that curveball that he's been working on, a pitch that's gotten better and better for him. He's always had a good changeup. Breaking ball is there, away, and he rings up Avila. 7 strikeouts for Weaver. Two down for Nick Ahmed, who grounded out his first time.
Well, to see how the strike zone has changed over the years, all you have to do is look at some old video from way back in the day when the catcher basically stood up behind home plate, just had a little flex in his knees, but they didn't get down into a crouch. Back then they called a lot of high strikes. And you think of the days of Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine and John Smoltz in Atlanta, the strike zone got shorter and wider. Javi Lopez used to sit about 4 feet off the outside corner and still get called strikes for those guys. Now we're seeing the zone maybe start to move back vertically again. We'll see. I don't know.
Well, that fastball was off the plate, but Tim Timmons says strike one. 1-1 on Ahmed. This is down below the knees. 2 balls and a strike. Were you standing up in a virtual crouch in your day when you started?
No. I was down in a crouch. Had trouble getting out of the crouch from time to time.
Still do. Fastball away. It's 3-1. Gerard Dyson on deck. Weaver has not walked a batter in the ball game. He's given up 2 hits, both singles. He's got 7 strikeouts. 70 pitches, 44 for strikes. That caught a seam, and it's full 3-2. See that gold emblem on Yadier Molina's glove. Once you win a gold glove, you get to have that gold label for the rest of your career. He's got a whole bunch.
Yeah, he's got 8 of them in his garage.
All in a row. Good at bat right there by Nick. A 2-out walk, and Dyson will be the hitter. Normally you have the red emblem on the glove, whatever different manufacturers, if it's Rawlings or whoever, there's a red label, but you can see Molina as the gold. And some D-backs players have that as well, of course. Paul Goldschmidt and Zach Greinke.
Zach Greinke, yeah. Yeah, Yadi not only has gold gloves, he's got a platinum glove. Best defender at any position.
4 of them, in fact. 8 gold gloves and 4 platinum gloves. Not to mention 2 World Series rings. So he's got a lot of bling back there. This is slicing toward the left field corner for Ozuna. And Weaver strands the 2-out walk. No score at Busch Stadium, St. Louis. Valley Toyota Dealers brings us Let's Go places. We're on an airplane after this ball game, headed for San Francisco. 3 games against the Giants, opting on Thursday, then 3 in LA at Dodger Stadium over the weekend. As this is the first road series of the year, the first stop on this 9-game 3-city road trip.
Saw Andrew McCutchen hit a walk-off homer for the Giants.
How about that? Yeah, yesterday, last night, in fact. Dodgers are off to their worst start in a long time. Here's Molina, who continues to play in the game despite stepping toward Torey Lovullo during their confrontation. Dodgers' worst 8-game start since 1976. That's a shame. Molina grounded out to end the second. And on the hands from Walker, and it's 0-1. Taiwan so far has given up only 1 hit, a single by the pitcher Weaver. He's walked 2, he's got 1 strikeout. Yadier Molina apparently let all his teammates know in the clubhouse before yesterday's game that he was really mad about the Cardinals striking out too much and not putting the ball in play. So he, by a few accounts, addressed his teammates in a less than polite fashion. And that was fixed at least yesterday with big innings in the first and third against Zach Greinke.
I'm sure he's just echoing the sentiments of hitting coach John Mabry.
Fastball down and away. It's full 3-2.
Tell you what, though, it's one thing to hear it from a coach. It's another thing when one of your team leader veterans stands up in the middle of the room and airs you out. Those hurt.
He did that apparently during breakfast before the game. And Molina rolls 1 through into left, a leadoff single, the second hit for the Cardinals. So he's hit safely now in all but 1 of their first 9 games. That'll bring up the shortstop, Paul DeYoung. DeYoung made contact his first time up. He lined out to short. He has struck out 7 times in the series. Cardinals went all in on Paul DeJong as their shortstop. They decided all-star Aledmus Diaz wasn't the defender they needed, although they liked the bat, but Diaz couldn't cover enough ground defensively. So he was dealt to Toronto in December. And DeJong, who led the Cardinals with 25 home runs as a rookie last year, got a long-term contract after just one season. 6 years, $26 million. So they believe he is the long-term answer at shortstop. They've been searching for a guy for several years now here in St. Louis, which is odd when you think of Ozzie Smith and company.
Well, Ozzie set the bar pretty high.
They've been looking for a guy to settle that position down for a while now, and they think it's DeJong. Fly ball left field. Peralta. It's up in that wind. Molina at first. Will tag and head for second. Here's the throw. It's offline, and Molina's in there. 90-foot advance by the Cardinal catcher. Bit of an awkward landing there.
Yeah, on that particular play, as the base runner at first, you go back and tag up, and second base is right in your line of sight to watch David Peralta make that play. You see the throw coming back into the infield, tailing toward the right field side of the bag. So Yadier just kept on going. Awkward slide into second, but safe nonetheless. Hey, you just read the throw from the outfielder. It's all right in front of you. If that throw's on line, you think you're going to be out, you slam on the brakes and go back to first.
He's at second with a one out for Colton Wong, who grounded out in the third. Breaking ball at the knees is a strike. Wong 1 for 19 this year. That's an .053 batting average. Pitcher spot is on deck. Here's a look at the defense. This is the Cardinals' first at bat today with a runner in scoring position. They are 4 for 12 in the series with runners in scoring position. Martinez had the big hit yesterday in that 3-run homer. Fastball up and away, 1-2. Taiwan now at 70 pitches through 4 1/3. That one shoots through into left center. They wave Molina home. The throw from Peralta is not in time, and it's 1-0 Cardinals. That extra 90 feet makes all the difference for Yadier Molina. RBI for Colton Wong, just his second base hit all year.
And a defensive breakdown there for the Diamondbacks. That ball hit through the left side of the infield. Daniel Descalso goes after the ball and then retreats back to the bag at third. Paul Goldschmidt was standing on first base. There's no cutoff man on the play. That allowed Wong to move from first to second on that throw to home.
The pitcher Weaver, who singled up the middle his first time up for the first Cardinal hit. D-backs now trail at 1-0.
Partner, you may remember in spring training when we had Gracie in the booth and we were talking about fundamental baseball and the things you work on in spring training, and we both commented that we felt base running was the most important fundamental and will win or lose games for you over the course of the season. And just saw an example of that. Yadier Molina, he's not even the fastest guy in the stadium today, not even close to it, but very alertly tagged up, went first to second, was able to score on that opposite field base hit. And then Wong's base running to read the throw home, realize there was no cutoff man. He moves into scoring position.
Yeah, that slow roller into left center field. Molina had no trouble coming home. 0-2 on Weaver, who's up there now with Wong at second and a run in. That is a fastball for a strike. 2 down, second strikeout for Walker. Dexter Fowler 0 for 2. Taijuan trying to strand that runner at second. Fowler has twice flied out. He's got just 1 hit in the series, 139 on the year. Taijuan going to that slow breaking pitch a little more often now as we start the 3rd time through the order for him. Fastball in, 0-2. Fowler, a switch hitter. 18 home runs last season, 16 coming as a left-hand batter. Wong at second with 2 outs. Another fastball in. That one missed. It's 1-2. Bounce to second for Marte. Walker gets out of the inning, but the Cardinals strike first. D-backs trail it 1-0. Fans plan ahead. Get the kids to some upcoming Kid Sunday games. Sunday games perfect for the family. They start at 1:10 at Chase Field, and after the game, all the kids can run the bases for PCH. On Sunday, April 22nd, kids can take home the youth bat and ball set. That's courtesy of MLB Play Ball and Chevrolet. Get your tickets at dbacks.com. We'll see you in the kiddies at the ballpark on Sundays this year. Luke Weaver with 7 strikeouts. He's given up just 2 hits now with a 1-0 lead. And Taijuan Walker leads off the D-backs 6th. Taijuan struck out his first time up. I think a good tactical move by both of us to move these tiny space heaters up on top of the counter here. Huddled around the mic like a campfire. 40 degrees at first pitch after 37 yesterday, the coldest home game in St. Louis Cardinals history. They've been around for a while. And there is snow expected in the forecast for later today. 2-2 on Taijuan. Our thanks to the Cardinals folks for getting us these heaters.
Thank you very much.
Saving us today. Did you recover when you got back to the hotel yesterday?
Yeah, I don't know. I said it on the air, but I told the governor and Tom Candiati before I left my hotel room yesterday, when I saw how cold it was, I turned my thermostat up as high as it would go in my hotel room.
That's a veteran move.
It was about 85 degrees in my room when I got back. But boy, did it feel good.
Carpenter at third. And they retire Taijuan to start the 6th. David Peralta singled his last time up. He's 1 for 2. A lot of the hits that David has had so far this year, and especially in this series, hard ground balls through the right side. And you'd like to see David get the ball up in the air a little bit more. Even his home run at Chase Field last week was a line drive shot over the wall in right. And last year, only 6 major league players hit ground balls more often than David Peralta. And with his power, the way he swings the bat, some more line drives would go a long way, especially in some of these big NL West ballparks.
Good hitters count here for David at 2-0.
More than half the balls David hit last year were on the ground. It's hard to do a whole lot of real damage that way. So now he's trying to elevate the ball. Not trying to hit it up in the air per se, just more line drives, find the gaps in the outfield. So his hands this year just a little bit lower. He thinks that'll help. Remember, he used to have his hands way up high and just whip the bat.
He used to snap that bat up into the ready position. Now he's much more under control, much smoother.
Little squib shot to third. Carpenter has to charge. Martinez, boy, you mentioned it the other day, Bob. It looks like he comes off the bag every time, but they get the out, 2 down.
He kind of attacks the throws from his fellow infielders off that bag at first, and almost every play it looks like he's coming off the bag, but got those long legs, able to stretch out there.
6'6". Base is empty, 2 down. Ketel Marte singled his last time up. Was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. There's a strike. So Ketel has now hit safely in 4 straight games and 5 of 6. 0-2. Just 3 hits for St. Louis, 2 for the D-backs. Cold day to try and hit the baseball. That fastball missed. It's 1-2. Fights this off. Ozuna drifting near the line. And Weaver works a 1-2-3 6th inning. D-backs trail at 1-0. Live at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium. That lets you watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Check out MLB.tv for details. Tommy Pham, the center fielder, leads off the bottom of the 6th with a fly ball to left for Peralta. 1 pitch, 1 out for Walker. Matt Carpenter has struck out and walked 0 for 1. Carpenter in the series has singled. He's walked 3 times. Scored twice. He's knocked in a run. He's reached base safely in all 9 games this year. Shift is on. There's ball 1. Where was that fastball? Right at the knees. We saw Tim Timmons call some pitches a lot lower than that. Strikes on Peralta and Pollock, which is what started the fracas in the 2nd inning when the bench is empty. Torey Lovullo was ejected. That fastball is a strike at a 1-1. Fly ball center for AJ, drifting over toward left center field. Now Peralta will take it. Fly ball outs in the inning for Walker, 2 down. And the batter is Marcell Ozuna, who's 0 for 2. I got 9 fly ball outs so far for Taiwan.
A chance for a quick inning here. 4 pitches to get 2 outs, and Marcell Ozuna, he's ready to swing at whatever comes his direction.
He's grounded out, flying out 0 for 2. 4 hits in the series. And he takes a fastball for strike 1. Now, whatever Ozuna is doing offensively, I wouldn't change it if I were the Cardinals after the year he had in Miami. 312, 37 home runs last year, 124 RBIs. And oh, by the way, it was a Gold Glove winner in the outfield. Fastball is there off the plate, but Timmons says strike 3. A 1-2-3 inning for Taijuan Walker. It's 1-0 St. Louis. in the second inning. A.J. Pollock rung up by plate umpire Tim Timmons on a low strike call after David Peralta had been rung up on a similar pitch for a called strike 3 to lead off the ball game. A.J. had a word. Torey Lovullo came out, was immediately ejected. At this point, Torey appeared to say something about Yadier Molina framing pitches, perhaps. Yadier didn't like it. He went after the Diamondback skipper, had to be separated by the plate umpire. The benches and the bullpens emptied. Torey was ejected. Molina stays in the game. And that was all to start the second inning. And that has been all the drama here today. Goldie leads off the seventh. Tyler Lyons, the left-hander, started warming up at the Cardinal bullpen. Goldie 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. You saw Torey gesture toward Molina and seemed to suggest to Tim Timmons that, hey, maybe that guy's reputation for framing pitches is fooling you a little bit or something. But Torey just out there trying to make sure it was an even playing field, because Timmons, not to get on him too much, but he had clearly missed 2 strike 3 calls. And early in the game, you want to make sure that's not going to be the tone for the entire afternoon.
And I think initially Torey was coming out to make sure A.J. Pollock did not get ejected from the ball game. But when A.J. continued on back to the dugout and Torey continued toward Tim Timmons, that's when he was ejected for arguing balls and strikes.
Yeah, Timmons ejected Torey almost immediately. And then things sort of went downhill from there. That one missed low, and it's full on Goldie 3-2 with A.J. on deck. But you can clearly see that Molina was the one that initiated the confrontation that led to the benches and the bullpens emptying. But Molina stayed in the game.
Well, as I mentioned at the time, something to keep an eye on. Maybe after MLB takes a look at the video, they may determine that Yadier was in the wrong in continuing that argument, making it worse than it had to be. Maybe a fine or a suspension in order. We'll have to wait and see.
Another 3-2 pitch to Goldie. Carpenter at third, smothers that one in the hole. Nice backhand scoop by Martinez, and they retire Goldschmidt to start the seventh. Here's another look at Matt Carpenter.
A couple of nice plays. Matt Carpenter with the diving stop at third base, gets to his feet with those ice cold hands, fires across the diamond in the dirt. Man, that guy can stretch. He can cover a lot of ground right and left if that throws offline.
Now here's A.J., who was struck out to start all that business in the second inning. And with more on that, here's Jody.
Yeah, as Torey Lovullo was asked yesterday in the post-game commentary about the umpires and certain calls that, you know, were borderline. And so, guys, I'm not sure it plays a role today, but there might have been some frustration, you know, boiling over from yesterday and then heading into 2 calls, you know, early in the game. You know, but yesterday Torey didn't engage he didn't go down that road at all. He said the umpires do a great job, and he did not want to comment on that. So we will get commentary, though, post-game from Torey on what went on today.
Thank you, Jody. A.J. 0 for 2. Here's one that will drop into right center for a base hit, a 1-out single. Just the 3rd hit for the D-backs against Luke Weaver. And now Descalso, the former Cardinal, comes up. Matt Bowman has joined Tyler Lyons, the left-hander, in the bullpen. Here comes Mike Matheny. He's got Lyons ready for Descalso, and he's going to go to the left-hander. We're in the 7th inning in St. Louis. D-backs trailing the Cardinals 1-0. That's it for Weaver. Back with more from Busch Stadium after this.
First base. Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Not much offense in this one. Each team with 3 hits, all singles. Pollock at first with a 1-out. Descalso was the hitter. And here's the left-hander Tyler Lyons from the Cardinal bullpen. We saw Lyons work 1 inning Thursday in the opener. He had 3 strikeouts.
He did hit David Peralta with a pitch. Sinker slider, throws a lot of sliders. Over half his pitches will be sliders.
Descalso 0 for 2. He has grounded out, struck out.
Well, this is where the Diamondbacks would really like to get some production. Granted, it's been very cold and tough to hit, but yesterday the 5 through 9 hitters for the Diamondbacks were 1 for 15. They did draw 4 walks. Today 0 for 9 with 1 walk. Combined 1 for 24 the last 2 days.
Torey, Lovullo, or Jerry Narron, I should say, running the game from the D-back dugout now that Torey's been ejected. Does have some right-hand options here, Chris Owings and Christian Walker, but they stick with Descalso, the veteran, against the left-hander, and he's ahead 2-0. AJ going on first move. Martinez drops the ball. They had him picked off. A break for the D-backs there. Jose Martinez, who's had some erratic throws from first to second, and a chance to get Pollock.
Martinez does the right thing, step into the middle of the infield to avoid the runner when you make that throw to second. He just didn't get a handle on the baseball.
Stolen base for AJ, his 3rd of the year. And that's the tying run now in scoring position. 1 out. A 2-0 count on Descalso. Up and in, it's 3-0. Avila, the catcher, on deck. Another left-hand batter. Right down the middle on 3-0. Caught the corner, full count, 3-2. Strike 3. Lions behind 3 balls and no strikes. Comes back to ring up Descalso, and that appeared to be strike 3. Right on the black.
Just got caught by surprise. We mentioned Lyons really likes his slider. He throws it a lot. Maybe Daniel expecting a slider, instead gets an 88-mile-an-hour heater right on the outside corner.
Tim Timmons walking over toward the Diamondback dugout, as Descalso had a few words there. And now we'll get the hitter Walker for Avila. That brings Mike Matheny out. He's going to go to Bowman, the right-hander, in his bullpen. So Walker announced as the hitter for the catcher Avila. And Bowman on his way in. Back after this. 9 run at second base, 2 outs in the 7th inning. D-backs trailing 1-0. Walker recalled from AAA Reno after the game yesterday. He had already homered in his first 2 games of the Aces. And he'll face the right-hander Matt Bowman on from the Cardinal bullpen. We've seen Bowman for the 3rd time in this series now. Torey Lovullo telling us before the game today that Christian Walker was one of those guys who really did deserve to make the opening day roster. But the numbers crunch and playing behind Goldie at first base were against him, so he'll be the primary right-hand bat off the bench. D-backs had carried the extra pitcher all this week following Monday's marathon win over the Dodgers. Matt Cook back to AAA, and Walker is here. So he steps up in a big spot, tying right at second, 2 outs. Christian had a pair of pinch hit home runs in 15 plate appearances with the D-backs late last year. And you see his numbers with Reno last season. He was the Pacific Coast League MVP. 309 and 32 home runs. Runners in scoring position. It's been a problem for the D-backs in this series. Especially yesterday, just 2 for 13, 0 for 3 so far today. A base hit can tie the ball game.
Now Bowman, like a lot of the Cardinal right-handed pitchers, works off the extreme first base side of the rubber. He's trying to get some kind of an angle. Bowman throws a full complement of pitches. He'll sink it, he'll cut it. He's got a split finger, a curveball, a slider.
In with a fastball, and it's 3-1. Nick Ahmed on deck. Full count, 3-2 with 2 outs. Ball 4. Walker works a walk, and here's Ahmed. Nick has grounded out, walked 0 for 1 today. Two on and 2 out. D-backs down 1-0. Down and in with a fastball for strike 1.
Well, it has to be tempting for A.J. Pollock at second base. The Cardinals middle infielders are split wide apart. He can get about as much lead at second as he wants. I think he could probably steal third easily.
He's the tying run.
And I'm sure Dave McKay has alerted Walker over at first base. You know, keep an eye on AJ out of the corner of your eye. Not a high percentage play, but it would move the potential go-ahead run into scoring position if they could pull off a double steal.
Back to the fastball, down and in, and it's 1-2. Molina wants a mound visit.
It's a natural paranoia. A.J. Pollock has been out there at second base long enough to peek in at Yadier Molina's signs, and they just want to make sure in a crucial situation in the ball game that nothing is being relayed to the hitter.
Luke Weaver, the starter for the Cardinals, pitched well. Gave up just 3 hits, all singles. Walked 1, had 7 strikeouts. 1-2 on Nick Ahmed. Two and 2. Gerard Dyson would be next. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on and 2 outs.
We'd love to see the count go full right here with 2 outs in the inning. Get both those runners in motion as the pitch is delivered. If Nick could find some grass in the outfield somewhere, score at least 1, maybe 2.
Nick has 7 RBIs on the year. That leads the team. Reaches out and pokes it over the head of Martinez. Here comes Pollock. Long to throw. It's not in time, and we're tied. Nick Ahmed, a big 2-strike, 2-out base hit, and it's 1-1.
Hit them where they ain't. Just kind of cued it off the end of the bat. Hard slider down low and away. Good job of protecting the plate. Colton Wong hustles out from his second base position to get to that ball. Otherwise, Christian Walker may try to come around and score. AJ, with 2 outs, he's just going to put his head down and run. He sees that Wong cut that ball off. There might be a play at the plate. Fortunately, the throw up the first base side. AJ in to tie it up.
And the go-ahead run is 90 feet away. Gerard dice it 0 for 2. That one almost got behind Molina. Holman, a breaking ball in the dirt. Gerard off to a 3 for 18 start to the year. Hitless in the series. Take one more of those right now. Just drop it in. So Weaver can't get the win. He pitched well. Right back to the mound. Bowman has it. And he strands Walker at third. But the D-backs get the equalizer. We stretch in St. Louis. It's 1-1.
Game here in the bottom of the 7th. Hey fans, a day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
New battery for the D-backs. And they have to get the interpreter out there, the translator, to explain to Yoshi Hirano what he can and cannot do in terms of blowing on his hand on this very cold day in St. Louis. But here he is to start the bottom of the 7th inning. Yoshihisa Hirano, his 6th appearance of the year, and John Ryan Murphy takes over behind the plate after Walker hit for Avila.
Yeah, we're assuming John Ryan Murphy will hit in the pitcher spot, the 9 hole, which will lead off in the top half of the 8th inning. The pitcher goes in Alex Avila's spot.
Jose Martinez 0 for 2, leads off the St. Louis 7th. Yoshi worked the 7th inning here in the opener Thursday, a 1-2-3 7th with a strikeout.
Shouldn't be a big surprise under the conditions we played here the last 3 days, but only 1 homer in this series. The guy at the plate hit it. Matter of fact, the Diamondbacks only have 5 home runs on the season. Only the Dodgers and the Marlins have fewer home runs in the National League.
Martinez was saying after the ball game yesterday he got every single bit of that ball that he hit out to left center. Could not have got any more behind it. It just barely cleared the fence. 406. And that turned out to be the big hit in the ball game. That 3-run homer in the 3rd off Zach Greinke. Dominic Leone has started warming up in the Cardinal bullpen. 2 balls and 1 strike on Martinez. Fastball just missed away. It's 3-1. Molina on deck. Third base. Martinez grounds out. Descalso throws him out. One away. Molina singled and scored to lead off the fifth. He's 1 for 2.
Good first pitch right there. Splitter in the dirt out in front of home plate. I talked about Yadier and Molina throughout this series. He's looking to pull the ball a little bit more this year, try to hit with more power to his pull field. He was looking to ambush a first pitch fastball right there and chased a bad splitter in the dirt.
Lazy fly ball to short right field for Dyson. 2 outs. Talking to John Smoltz after the game here Thursday. He was here with Bob Costas for MLB Network. He was impressed with the Hirano split. Like what he saw. Here's former D-back Dominic Leone. Ball to Young, the shortstop. DeYoung hitless in the series so far with 7 strikeouts. Splitter in the dirt, 1-1.
Yeah, DeYoung did make some solid contact in his first at bat in the ball game. Back in the third, a little soft liner to short. Did fly out, lazy fly ball to left in the fifth.
Yoshi gets the call there, down and away. It's 1-2. DeYoung, a lot of swing and miss, but always dangerous. He led the Cardinals last year with 25 home runs. Called strike 3 off the plate. Hirano got the call. He works a 1-2-3 7th. We're tied up in St. Louis.
Pick up the Archie Bradley audio bobblehead before the game on Saturday, April 21st, when the D-backs take on the San Diego Padres. That's courtesy of Gila River Hotels and Casinos, or visit dbacks.com. Another pitching change for the Cardinals as we get ready to start the top half of the 8th inning. Former D-back Dominic Leone on again. Been used a lot already this year. His 5th appearance of the season. You see what he's done in his previous 4 appearances. 8 strikeouts in 4 2/3. No walks. Has given up a couple of home runs. I incorrectly said that John Ryan Murphy would be hitting in the 9 spot. Jerry Narron made the changes straight up so he could pick his pinch hitter in this 9 spot, and it will be Chris Owings to lead it off here in the top half of the 8th inning. Owings with a hit in yesterday's ball game. 3 hits rather, in game 1 of the series.
1-1 as we start the 8th at Busch Stadium. Just been handed a card by the increasingly reliable staff of yours. Attendance announced 40,468. Appears slightly less than that from our view. It's been labeled as fake news here in the booth. Archie Bradley starting to heat up down to the bullpen. Yeah, there's no way it's 40,000 plus here today. It's just too cold. Boy, Leone didn't get the call there in the corner. 2 balls, 1 strike. But as always, Bob, they paint the seats red. Everyone wears red clothes. It's hard to tell. It's all part of the plan here.
Camouflage.
In baseball heaven, as they call it. And CO bangs that into left field. A leadoff single. He's the go-ahead run.
CO's been hot from day one.
Hasn't he, though?
Barreled that one up into left field for a leadoff hit here.
You know, he started off last year that way too, Chris Owings. Hit .311 in April, .320 in May. Peralta, 1 for 3, a single in the 4th. Owings, good speed on the bases.
Carpenter at third, not sure whether to anticipate a bunt or not. He's playing about even with the base down there. He's trying to read David Peralta and charge hard if David shows that he's going to bunt.
Auto play, and it's 0-2.
Now he'll back up into a deeper defensive position.
Be nice if the Diamondbacks could win here for several reasons, obviously. It would be 3 straight series wins to open a year for the first time in team history. It would also get Torey Lovullo his 100th career win in a game that he was ejected. Which has some poetic justice to it, I think, considering what happened. Torey would be the fastest D-backs manager ever to get to 100 wins.
And those are all great reasons to win this ball game, but even better, you always want to win on getaway day.
Oh yeah.
A long flight out to the West Coast. Make it a happy flight.
Peralta drives one to the right center field gap, and that one is off the wall and gone. A home run off the top and over. David Peralta is second of the year, and the Diamondbacks have a 3-1 lead. It just bounced up and over the top out near the Cardinal bullpen.
Another one of those line drives off the bat of David Peralta that we were talking about earlier. His home run at Chase Field last week came on a line drive to right center field, very similar to this one.
Well, he said he was trying to get more line drives up in the air.
Yeah, he threw that slider down and in right into David's happy zone. It hits off the top of the fence and then hits something behind the fence and ricochets back on the field. That's a home run.
Great look by our camera crew there. A timely hit for Peralta. Dominic Leone serves it up. 3-1 D-backs. And here's Ketel Marte. Molina wants a mound visit. 403 feet on the home run by Peralta. Just enough.
Yeah, they used to have a flower bed out there right behind the fence.
Yeah, there's some dirt that kicked up there on the top of the fence.
No flowers growing yet, but yeah, it hit the top of the fence and hit that dirt in the flower bed, hit the railing, and came back onto the field.
Well, we were just talking about how it would be nice to win for a whole bunch of reasons, and then Peralta takes one out of here. Myers warming up with the bullpen. Here's Mike Matheny. No sign. I think he's going to wait until Tim Timmons makes him make a move, and there we go. Peralta's homer has made it 3-1 D-backs. Back after this. Here in the 8th inning, a single by Chris Owings, a 2-run homer by David Peralta. And here's the right-hander Mike Myers, converted into a reliever 15 starts into last year. And he's on to face Ketel Marte.
Not a lot of hard hit balls in this game. Really not a lot of hard hit balls in this series, but Chris Owings with that line drive into left field to start it, and then David Peralta with a line drive home run of his own to right field. Loud contact here in this inning.
6 hits in the ball game. Peralta has 2 of them. Marte singled in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. Fastball off the plate, 1-0. D-backs off to a 6-2 start, matching their best ever. Trying to get to 7-2 and begin the season by winning 3 consecutive series for the first time in franchise history. Headed for foul ground, but out of play. Numbers on Myers. Struck out 3 batters, or pardon me, a scoreless inning opening day against the Mets, 1 strikeout. He was up and down 3 times last year between the Cardinals and AAA Memphis. Goldie on deck, 0 for 3. Well, if you think about what the Diamondbacks are accomplishing here, with Goldie slumping, no Jake Lamb, no Steven Souza Jr., you'd take 7-2 in a heartbeat.
In a second.
And the news on Steven Souza Jr., by the way, is very encouraging. Talking with Torey in his office before the game today, D-backs were thrilled with how Souza looked yesterday. Took 6 at-bats against live pitching in an extended spring game at Salt River. Timing appeared to be excellent. That was what surprised them most after all the time off. And Steven also threw from up to 150 feet. He is resting today. Will likely repeat that process tomorrow, and then they'll look at some minor league rehab games. So he's going to be back, it appears, very soon. Foul ground for Molina. And that's certainly good news. Jake Lamb also coming in to play some catch today with that shoulder strain. So things are improving on the injury front. Here's Goldie. Goldie has struck out twice, grounded out, 0 for 3. Not able to check his swing that time. 0-1.
Myers is one of those pitchers that almost hypnotizes himself after he gets his sign from Yadier Molina. He comes up in the set position and just stares at his target.
Yeah, they play the Halloween music when Mike Myers comes into the game.
A little quick pitch that time.
DeYoung at shortstop.
Hey, partner, we'd be remiss if we don't recognize the great city of St. Louis, because that's where our old buddy, the late Joe Garagiola, was born. Right across the street from one of the greatest catchers in the history of the game, Yogi Berra.
Up on the hill here in St. Louis.
Yeah, on Elizabeth Avenue. The addresses were 5446 and 5447, right across the street from each other.
What are the odds of that?
I don't know. Both guys were christened, married, and eulogized in the St. Ambrose Church up on the hill in the neighborhood.
We miss him dearly, Joe Sr.
We sure do.
Always absolute joy to have him visit our booth, sit in for a few innings, and just talk baseball. Here's Here's AJ, singled, stole a base, scored a run his last time up. He's 1 for 3. David Peralta's 2-run home run here in the 8th inning. The difference in the game so far. Second of the year for David. 1-1 on Pollock. AJ's now hit safely in 4 straight games and 8 of 9 to start the year.
You know, right after I said Myers just stares down his target before delivering that ball, he tried to quick pitch Goldie.
In the dirt, 3 balls and a strike. Descalso on deck. AJ gives it a ride, headed toward the bullpen, and there it goes. AJ Pollock, his first of the year, and it's 4-1 Diamondbacks. And the Boo Birds are out in St. Louis. A jumbo jack, a free jumbo jack tomorrow, a Jack in the Box with the purchase of a large drink.
Oh, talked about loud contact in this inning. AJ Pollock gets a hanging slider up in his eyes and just tomahawks it into that left field bullpen. Nice play, Archie.
Archie Bradley set to come on to work the bottom of the 8th inning. He'll now have a 4-1 lead as Descalso steps in. He hits it hard but right at Colton Wong at second. Owings had a single to lead it off against Dominic Leone, the former Diamondback, and then Leone served up this one. David Peralta, 403 feet. It was just enough. D-backs have a 4-1 lead. Inning, break up a 1-1 tie. Peralta a 2-run shot. AJ Pollock a solo homer. It's 4-1 D-backs. There they are. David Peralta, the 2-run home run, made it 3-1. AJ tacks on a solo shot. So it's a 4-1 lead for Archie Bradley as he starts the home half of the 8th inning against Colton Wong. Pitcher spot is behind Wong. Greg Garcia is in the on-deck circle for St. Louis. D-backs have the shift on. Wong an RBI single his last time up. Archie jumps ahead 0-2. Cardinals still with only 3 hits. St. Louis had only 2 hits in the ball game here Thursday night. Fastball up and away. It's 1-2. Wong off to a 2 for 20 start to the year. Here's a look at the defense. No long sleeves for Archie Bradley, the Oklahoma boy. John Brevigan out warming up in the Cardinal bullpen. And Wong has his second hit today. A leadoff single into right center. Garcia will hit for the pitcher Myers. Greg Garcia 0 for 5, a pair of strikeouts this year. He popped out as a pinch hitter Thursday night.
Yeah, 3 of his 5 at bats this season have come as a pinch hitter.
Fastball is in there, 0-1. Garcia 61 pinch hit plate appearances last year. He batted .222. Goes bunt. Murphy hangs on at the foul tip, and it's 0-2.
I know Some guys aren't as enamored with the bunt for a base hit as they used to be, but boy, in conditions like this, I mean, you look at the defenders, everybody's standing with their hands in their pockets between pitches. It's really tough to feel your fingers on a day like this. I'm surprised more of the guys who are capable of bunting for a base hit didn't try it in this series.
Cardinals looking for base runners here. Fastball up, and it's 1-2. John Ryan Murphy back there. He'll keep an eye on Colton Wong. Oliver Marmol coaching at first. Garcia triple checking with Jose Oquendo at third. Infield is back for the D-backs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Oh, that just missed. 2-2. Looked like it caught a seam of the inside corner. Not enough for Tim Timmons. Along the line, long run for Peralta. Good thing it's padding on that thing. He hit that pretty hard.
Yeah, he hit it chest high out there in left field, but if you come in a little bit closer, that wall is right about knee level. Fortunately, that was hit where it was. David was able to cushion himself against that padded wall chest high.
I think Descalso was telling him, look out for that wall, and David, I couldn't hear you. So it stays 2 balls and 2 strikes on Greg Garcia, the pinch hitter. Murphy sets up down and away. And there's another one almost in the same spot. Dexter Fowler, the leadoff man on deck. 0 for 3. Got him.
Perfect pitch, perfect location. Drop that breaking ball out there on the outside corner. Garcia was definitely in swing mode, just trying to protect the plate. Fouled off a couple of fastballs, but ended up chasing that breaking ball.
Dexter Fowler. It's been a slow start for Fowler, batting .135 on the year. 5 for 37 up there. He does have a home run. Shift is on. Swing and a miss. Foul tip. Murphy hangs on. It's 0-1. There's the defense.
Dexter Fowler 0 for 3 lifetime against Archie Bradley with a couple of punch outs. Could use one more right here.
St. Louis with only 4 hits in the ball game. Their 1 through 3 hitters today are 0 for 7 with a pair of walks. That's Fowler, Pham, and Carpenter. Left field for Peralta. 2 outs. Tommy Pham now. Pham has walked. He's 0 for 2. He's twice flied out. Ribby is still warming up at the Cardinal bullpen. D-backs will have Murphy, Ahmed, and Dyson due up 6, 7, and 8. Pitcher spot behind them. Bullpen busy now. Right to Nick Ahmed. They get the force on Wong. Archie Bradley gets us to the ninth with a 4-1 D-backs lead. To the game, 2 D-backs homers break up a 1-1 tie in the 8th inning. David Peralta followed by A.J. Pollock.
Yeah, David with a line drive that skipped off the top of the fence in right field. No doubt about A.J.'s Archie Bradley, the only defender that could make a play.
And we hit the ninth. Diamondbacks with a chance to open the season with 3 consecutive series wins for the first time in club history. A 4-1 lead as the right-hander John Brebbia is on to work the 9th inning for St. Louis. As the Cardinal fans here head for the exits, Brebbia just called up from the minor leagues today, replacing left-hander Ryan Sheriff, who suffered a broken big toe. Got hit by a comebacker. So it's Brebbia who will work to the catcher John Ryan Murphy. After that, Nick Ahmed, Gerard Dyson. D-backs have out hit the Cardinals 7-4. They lead it 4-1 in the 9th.
John Brebbia was among National League rookie reliever ratings in just about everything last year. Led Major League rookie relievers with a 2.44 ERA. Opponent's batting average of 193.
Did make the ball club coming out of spring training, apparently. Seems odd. This is a guy who pitched a couple of years of independent ball, places like Sioux Falls and Laredo. Diamondbacks got him out of indie ball at the end of the 2015 season. Cardinals picked him up as a Rule 5 draft. 2-1 on John Ryan Murphy. Fastball's low. That one's a ball. 3-1. Nick Ahmed had one of the key hits of the ball game, a 2-out RBI single that tied it 1-1 in the 7th. Nick up there, 2 outs, 2 strikes, blooped it over the head of the first baseman Martinez, which is not easy to do at 6'6". And that tied the ball game. D-backs followed with 2 homers in the 8th. On the ground to shortstop, DeYoung behind the bag. They retire Murphy to start the 9th. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. We fly to San Francisco after this one. First of 3 against the Giants. Coming up from AT&T Park tomorrow. The Dutch oven, Derek Holland on the mound. And Zach Godley gets his second start of the year for the D-backs. He pitched so well the first time, beat the Dodgers last Tuesday.
Yeah, for Zach, it has to feel like an eternity since he was last on the mound. There's a guy that loves to get out there and compete.
The Bull. Ahmed has walked. He's got that RBI knock. Giants will have Derek Holland in that series, Johnny Cueto, and then TBA. They are, of course, without both Jeff Samardzija and Madison Bumgarner. D-backs will have Godley, Corbin, and Ray Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday's an off day. And then 3 at Dodger Stadium starting Friday night. It'll feel nice and warm on that plane if we can get out of here with a 4-1 win.
Usually you fly to San Francisco and you're underdressed. You know, you get off the plane in San Francisco and a cold marine layer hits you, and oh man, it's cold.
It's going to be the first time we're
ready for it.
Yeah. Got 4 layers on. And And Brebbia dots the fastball down and away. Ahmed Khan looking at strike 3. There's Jerron Dyson. Yeah, these clothes may come in handy some of those night games at San Fran as well. Backdoor breaking balls in there. 0-1 on Dyson, who's 0 for 3. Pitcher spot up next. I think that's Devin Marrero down there in the on deck. Yeah, it is. Yep. In the on deck circle. He would hit for the pitcher Bradley. Brad Boxberger set to go in the D-back bullpen. Boxberger got his 3rd save of the year here Thursday night. Long at second. Bottom 9, Diamondbacks a chance to take 2 of 3. We'll try and box them up when we come back. His 100th win as D-backs manager. They have a 4-1 lead as we start the home half of the 9th inning. And on to close is the right-hander Brad Boxberger. We saw Brad get his 3rd save of the year in the series opener here Thursday night. He worked a 1-2-3 9th inning. And he'll face the heart of the order for St. Louis. Carpenter, Ozuna, Martinez, 3, 4, and 5 in the Cardinal 9th. Carpenter will lead it off. He is 0 for 2 with a walk. Shift is on against Carpenter. Of course, we say Torey Lovullo, 99 career managerial wins. Looking to become the fastest manager in D-backs history to 100. Don't believe that includes the wild card win over Colorado last year. But it sounds good anyway.
Sure does. Just like a player hitting 300 or getting that magical 30 homers, 100 RBIs, those round numbers look great on your bubblegum card. Same thing for a manager.
And it would be poetic justice for Torey to get that 100th win after a game in which he was ejected. One and 2 on the Cardinal third baseman. They leave the whole left side of the field wide open for Carpenter. Boxberger, low 90s fastball and an excellent changeup.
Not a lot of looks for this Cardinals lineup against Brad Boxberger. Career-wise, Dexter Fowler has 3 at-bats. That's the most of any Cardinal hitter, as that 89-mile-an-hour heater chases Carpenter out of that box.
Spun him around. It's 3-2. Marcell Ozuna on deck. Got him.
Carpenter a little tardy on the swing right there. Maybe being a little too defensive, knowing that Boxberger has that really good changeup, but got fooled by a high fastball that time.
Marcell Ozuna 0 for 3. 4 hits in the series, all singles. Right at the knees for strike 1. St. Louis with a loss would drop to 4-5 on the year, trailing Pittsburgh in the National League Central. D-backs would improve to 7-2, leading the NL West. Ozuna has a base hit. One-out single. The batter is Jose Martinez, the big first baseman. He homered here yesterday. 0 for 3 today. Can he see out of that thing? Every possible part of face that can be covered is covered for Jose Martinez.
You're familiar with the Blue Man Group. This is the Red Man Group.
Yeah, it's a good call. Start banging a drum. He looks like Bazooka Joe. Ooh, right at the knees.
Good pitch.
Didn't get the call from Tim Timmons. 1-1. That one is slap foul. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Boxberger looking for his 2nd save in the series and his 4th on the year. Molina on deck.
Boy, David Peralta in left, A.J. Pollock in center, playing very deep. That's about as deep as you'll ever see Gerard Dyson play in right field. He plays a very shallow outfield, trusting his speed to get back on anything over his head.
Descalso at third. Marte for 1, and they roll it. Box him up. D-backs win it 4-1. They take 2 of 3 in St. Louis. They improve to 7-2 to start the year.
Boy, and once again, we'll point out the fact that they are missing some very, very key pieces of this offense, but they just continue to find ways to win behind their starting pitcher and a slam-shut bullpen.
And for the first time in club history, the Diamondbacks have won 3 straight series to open a season. And Torey Lovullo gets credit for win number 100, the fastest manager in D-backs history to get to 100 wins. It was awfully cold here, cloudy, lights on all day. 40 degrees at first pitch, but the offense heats up late. Ahmed, a 2-out